I've always gotten more aggravation from women of color in my life than anybody else on this planet. From elementary school through college, through work, the people who have done or been more reactive and cruel in nature have been, for whatever reason, a small minority group of women who happen to be women of color. And I am a light-skinned woman of color. And that's all we need to know about me. Because again, the topic is more important. Who we are is unimportant. But that description feeds the narrative of what you have witnessed firsthand from being around me and from my experience in situations where, for example, teaching, where the only parents who have ever cursed me out with saliva flying out of their mouth and calling me all kinds of curse words is a certain small minority group of women of color. And that doesn't mean just Black, by the way. That should not be that implication. White women are a pill too. Make no mistake about that shit. But they're passive aggressive.
Yeah, they just sue you or write a mean email to your boss.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which I've also witnessed and experienced. Right. And 9 out of 10 women of color will tell you they've also experienced that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can say firsthand, having known you for so long, I've seen you get a lot of shit specifically from a group of women of color that you did not deserve, largely because they're coming after you because they don't know you yet, and they've just decided they don't like you because you're light-skinned.
It disappoints me how much that still feeds into the culture and the dialogue and the dynamic of Black and brown culture. It is internalized white supremacy. It's what they think I think about me. And that's why I very much understood when Meghan Markle says she's experiencing racism and people were like, what type of racism is she experiencing? She looks white. First of all, she doesn't look white to me. White people know she's not white. That's how you know she don't look white. Because she don't pass to them. She may pass to us, but she doesn't pass to them. Second of all, I'll tell you why for me it's affirmed that she is a Black woman. Her mother is Black. And that's the primary caretaker. If her mother was white, I would probably have a little bit of a different perspective on her from this distant view I have from what I've read about her. But her mother is a Black woman. When you're raised by a Black woman, you're culturally and physically Black. There's no other way to look at that.
Especially with the clear acrimonious relationship that she's had with her father and that her mother has had with her father as well. She grew up.
That side of the family.
Her mom raised her.
Yeah, her mother raised her. That side of the family looked like a bunch of lunatics, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But her mother raised her, and her mother is I believe of West Indian descent, but has obviously been in America a really long time. So Meghan Markle gets it from both sides. So white people who are racist hate her, and then Black people who don't think she's quote unquote Black enough give her shit also, because they're like, well, there you go, sliding into this white family, expecting to be treated as what equal? Like, did you really expect that?
It's that.
And I don't think she expected that, but I did think that she expected them to at least try to be fair.
Right. It's two-part when it comes from Black folks. You don't actually experience racism because you're light-skinned and we think that you pass, even though the white folks know you don't pass. And then it's also on top of that, well, you married a white guy, so regardless, fuck off.
Well, it's like the murder of the African-American gentleman who was killed by his blonde girlfriend, the OnlyFans Instagram model. So I believe it took almost 6 months to arrest her for allegedly stabbing him. And there's no outcry from the Black community about it. And part of the lack of outcry is because he was killed by allegedly a white woman. And he may have, allegedly, years ago when he was a young teenager, said disparaging remarks about Black women. So this feeds into the conversation around, well, we say Black Lives Matter, or do we only mean certain ones? So if you're killed by a white woman, your life is less valuable. Like, we're not going to fight for you. We're not going to fight for justice for you. I see both sides of it. I see people of color saying, why are we going to march for somebody who was not killed by somebody in our community? Like, shouldn't white women be marching for him? I mean, shit, the Kardashians alone should be able to save 3/4 of the black men in the United States. I don't know if they go to marches. I mean, do white women go to marches for black men in general, outside of like Black Lives Matter and specifically George Floyd? I mean, there's so many other black men and black women that have been killed. You know, shouldn't we, those of us who identify as feminists, shouldn't we be out marching? Who was the comedian that was saying, why is the WNBA struggling? Why is Brittany Griner only making 200,000? Because the feminists aren't supporting her. They're not supporting women's sports to the magnitude that they're supporting men's sports. And it's that simple. It's about money. That's why Brittany Griner was in Russia playing basketball in the first place. She had to work.
Yeah. She had to work because they don't get paid. Now they don't get paid because they don't bring that much revenue in. And these WNBA teams, most of them play in major cities that have plenty of women there who, given that WNBA tickets are only $10, should be able to support these teams. And even if you're not going to support them by going to the games, buy the merch, tweet it out, follow, like, and subscribe what they're doing. There's no support across all platforms in all ways that we might measure support. There's no support from women. And Bill Burr even pointed out that it's because y'all would rather watch two women tear each other down. You have WNBA teams that hardly anybody even watches the WNBA championships, right? Or women's Olympic level basketball. But you put two middle-aged white women on a reality TV show and have them just tear each other apart verbally and physically, and y'all watch that.
Oh.
How many different spinoffs do we have of Real Housewives now? We got Real Housewives of Dubai. We got Real Housewives of Mumbai. We have.
I'm proud to say I have no idea. I am proud to say I have no idea. I'm even prouder to say I've never seen a single episode of a single one of those shows. I think it makes women look tacky and tasteless and vulgar in a way that's not funny. It doesn't move the needle. I mean, because vulgar on a woman can be funny, like a woman can do it all, but it doesn't mean you have to do it all at the same time, all the time. There is something to a time and a place, and I'm disappointed that those shows have gained the momentum that they have, but we can't get women to the WNBA so that women like Brittany Griner aren't in Russia, moonlighting so that they can eat and pay bills. I mean, that's shameful, especially when you look at the ratio of how much money the NBA makes. It's like, Jesus, if there was even like a 1% of what the NBA made that was just automatically put into the WNBA pool to market it more, I think that'd be helpful. I think it's something I wish the athletes would come together on.
Well, the NBA itself funds the WNBA, and the WNBA, when you look at their financial statements, the WNBA is a loss every year on the NBA's ledger.
See,
so I think
that's
one of the reasons why they don't want to put more money into marketing it, because they're not, the money they're spending right now, they don't even make back. It is a loss leader on the NBA ledger right now. And that loss is eaten by all of the teams. It's spread across all the teams.
Shameful.